Hello everyone, Commonwealth Realm here with another brief Breath of the Wild update. Looks like Game Informer have claimed the biggest Zelda scoop yet with their keys to Breath of the Wild, revealing some new gameplay in the 40 seconds trailer for their massive coverage, which begins tomorrow.
Warning, potential spoilers will be talked about in this video, so for your own sake, you have been warned. Before we go over to the new gameplay, let's have a look at this gorgeous concept art of Link and Zelda holding or pulling the rusted Master Sword. The first thing worth to note is obviously the fact that the Master Sword is in horrible shape. Or is it? Since it looks like Zelda is in the same divine garment from the past, does this scene take place in the past or the present?
Both past and present, since the concept art splits in the middle. Zelda is as mentioned in her past divine clothing, placing the Master Sword back into the pedestal after Link's fall in battle. Link on the other hand is clearly pulling out the restored Master Sword in present time, as he is in his champion shirt with a steel sword and most importantly has the Sheikah Slate on his hip. Together, the two pieces of art express an emotion of continuation, where Zelda sets the groundwork for what Link will accomplish upon pulling the Master Sword from its pedestal while being observed by the Great Deku Tree. Zelda in the past wearing similar bracelets to the ones worn by Zelda in Skyward Sword is definitely moved by this moment of defeat, but also hope, and we are as well. Over to the sweet gameplay bits. Nintendo Japan just posted a series of new Nintendo Switch commercials. One of them included a little bit of gameplay from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and one of the scenes we already saw off screen in the Super Bowl trailer. I'm talking about the Link pulling Master Sword to protect Zelda in the middle of Gerudo Desert. So as we mentioned in our previous analysis, this scene takes place in the present times. Link doesn't have his Sheikah Slate, but it appears that Zelda will be taking that slate from Link at times to times. And this, ladies and gentlemen, means that Zelda will most likely be a companion for Link in a longer section of the game. The design of the Master Sword definitely looks like it's taken from the one found in Skyward Sword. It's clean, it doesn't have any extra additions as seen in Twilight Princess, though it also could be an altered form of the Master Sword from Ocarina of Time. I will not go and speculate about the timeline placement here, but this definitely takes place in present time, seeing the state of the restored Master Sword and Link and Zelda wearing champion tunics. Next we see Link determined, holding the Master Sword, getting a little bit of a close-up of its sleeve. Finally we have probably the most interesting shot. Link and Zelda riding horseback right next to each other. Zelda on a royal white horse. It could be a stallion, it could be a mare. But one thing that is worth noticing here, or actually two things that are worth noticing here, is that Zelda is wearing the Sheikah Slate, not Link. So it looks like the theory that I just brought forward, that Zelda is most likely our companion in a long section of the game, is indeed true. Another thing worth noticing from this little section is that it appears that the royal crest had also had a little overhaul in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yes, you see the Triforce, but you also have the head of the Loftwing. Otherwise, I don't think we see that much here. We see Link and Zelda riding through this landscape into the horizon, as we see probably Death Mountain in the horizon. Link, of course, has the Master Sword, but it looks like there's a horse statue, though, far there in the distance. So these are just a few clips from that commercial. We also got a new clip of Honix. And look at this. Look at all of these hearts that will be present in Breath of the Wild. That is mostly it. Not that much spoilery stuff. We're keeping away from the big spoilers found in the Game Informer issue, but we might touch upon some of them in the next episode of Inside Breath of the Wild. But they also had some other gameplay which doesn't contain spoilers, so we'll go over them right now.
Our opening shot clearly takes place near the tree limit next to the stable at the foot of the northwestern mountain range, not too far away from Snow Peak. It's clear that this footage is from the relatively early stages of the game, as Link still only has 6 heart containers and the Master Sword is nowhere to be seen. In the distance we can see a Sheikah Tower, which Link has still not visited, as the map for this region is yet to be unlocked. The scene ends by utilizing the Sheikah Slate to zoom in on the tower. The next scene takes place at the top of what is probably the same Sheikah Tower, but prior to obtaining the map data of the Winter Providence of Breath of the Wild. The pan over with the camera confirms that this tower is indeed located to the west of Death Mountain and Hyrule Castle at the foot of Snow Peak, right next to the Western Canyon. The next scene battling the Guardian at South Central Hyrule has already been shown to us, so we move back on the road to the top of Snow Peak. And what do we see?
You can ride your horse up the snow-covered mountains while fighting mounted bokoblins. Truly a winter wonderland. It reminds me of my own home country of Norway, except for the bokoblin part, that is. Another area that reminds me of Norway, Sweden, or some areas in the Alps is this western mountain plain, as we see Link passing a shed for horses, riding towards the direction of Death Mountain. And yep, the whip is back in this Zelda installment. This means it will indeed take some time to explore Hyrule, even on horseback.
Last but not least, we have a brief look at a new wind-based shrine with Link carrying a large Sheikah ball. And that is it until at least tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this little update, as more will come with the reveal of new information and gameplay from the most anticipated game of 2017, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.